Good morning. Good morning. This is a little different this morning, so I'm trying to figure it out. There it is. Hi. Good morning. Good morning. This is a little different. I'm using a computer device, a phone, so trying to work it out. I am so blessed to see you guys this morning. Let me, as it gives me all the tips. Facebook always has a lot of tips. Good morning. Um, it is Tuesday, May 31st, 2021. And I bet you, like me, are just like, what? Tomorrow is June. Yeah, it is. It actually is June tomorrow, which I can't believe it. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, got it. All right, so won't have to worry about the Wi-Fi today. Yeah, there's so much to unpack. Long weekend. I want to start by saying we are it is going as we roll into the summer. There is going to be a lot of opportunities to get involved. Um, I will be in Richmond on tomorrow because there's something that's really a big deal happen tomorrow. Our budget came out yesterday. And I'll walk through a little bit just because I think if you weren't here with us during session, so this a lot of this may be new to you. So I want to do a couple things today. I want to explain what's happening with our budget, our state budget. I want to, give sort of my take as we move forward. Then I want to go through some current events, maybe the things that are going on inside the budget things, and then maybe some things that are going on nationally and around our neighborhood. Does that sound good? I truly hope so. So let's break it down with the budget, right? So first off, if you haven't got a chance to see it or understand the process, what happens is each part of the General Assembly, which is there's a House and a Senate, creates their budget. Our budgets have to we have to work with each other to approve each other's budgets, and that's what how we end up getting a budget. The budget is actually a bill, and I have the big thick books in the car. I like to share them with the middle schoolers. The middle schoolers seem to think that the budget bill. Let me turn this around. They seem to think that the budget bill is the most interesting thing in the world, which is pretty cool. But what happened was we were not able to complete the budget by the end of session. Session ended on March 12th. And because we couldn't come to an agreement, that meant that the budget came into conference. And conference doesn't isn't like it sounds. It doesn't mean we sit at a conference table. It's mean a handful of people come together and they try to get a mutual agreement on what that could look like, on what the bill, whether it's a budget or otherwise, should or could look like. It's important to sort of see the differences between the two budgets, and I'm going to put this in the chat too. The side-by-side comparisons. I've told you guys a lot about Commonwealth Institute. I'm putting that in the chat. Commonwealth Institute of Fiscal Analysis does every year this side-by-side analysis. What's in the House, what's in the Senate budget. Those budgets look very different because just like our money kind of tells where our values are, right? Like when you spend your money on certain things, that is you saying these are the things that I value, right? And so when you have a Democratic Senate and a Republican controlled House, those values of where and how much we spend in different places can be very, very contrasting, and we have to find a middle to where we all can vote on it. This budget, I'm already going to tell you, is going to be a hard vote. It's going to be a hard vote. It's going to be a hard vote. It's going to be a hard vote. There are some things in there that I do not love at all. There are some things in there that I love to pieces. What it's important for you all to understand is that the budget supersedes law. I'm going to say that again. The budget supersedes law. And the way I'm going to explain it is just like is practically what is happening now. So right now, it's not illegal we'll take the marijuana situation for instance, right? We don't have any bill that says it's illegal for over 4 ounces of having over 4 ounces of weed. Like, we don't have that law, but in the budget, there's funding to make that a crime, right? So what happens is it's even if there's no law, if the budget says it's so, it's so. And I think I gave the example, just to break it down even smaller, that if there's no law that says Pizza Hut has to be closed on Sunday, but in the budget there's funding to enforce making sure Pizza Huts are, why did I say Pizza Huts are closed on Sunday, then it becomes policy, right? So it's important to pay attention to that budget. I put in there a side by side comparison for you guys, which should be hopefully helpful as you sort of break down and kind of get a good feel for what the budget looks like for you. I will say this. I'm also going to put in the conference report. Remember how I said that we have to come together and figure out like what that looks like? Conference reports are not, they're not easy to read. I'm gonna tell you that there. It's not. None of this was built for true human consumption. But if you want to take a look at the conference report, it'll give you an explanation as to why something's a certain way. It gives a breakdown, and you can always reach out to our office if you're like looking at the conference report of the budget, like trying to figure out like, Jackie, I can't make no sense of this. Help, habu hasu. Hook a brother up, hook a sister up. But I'm still learning. So like there, I've made phone calls since it dropped. I feel like it was a new album. It dropped on Sunday, and I was on the phone Sunday night. Last night there was a call that I missed, but I'll be on a call tonight, just sort of going through and mapping out and getting a better understanding of what is or is not in the budget. And I'm going to say this again for everyone: it is not going to be easy vote. And this happens quite often, is that you're voting for something, or at least for me, I'm not going to say you, we're voting for something, and there are pieces that are absolutely amazing. There are pieces that I cannot stand, and I have to determine, do I want to take that vote? That happened with the budget before, is that we were able to pull certain things out of budget so I could vote yes for it. But on the overall, the initial House budget, I voted against it. I didn't like it. There were things I liked, but we pulled them out because you can pull out certain things to vote yes. But overall, I didn't like it, voted against it. Because the way our current system is set up, there's going to be a lot of tax reform in this budget. And then I'm going to get off the budget because probably Thursday, after we're done in Richmond, I'll probably spend a lot of time talking about the budget. So our current system is completely upside down. It disproportionately provides wealthy, which are typically primarily white in the Commonwealth of Virginia, individuals and multi-state organizations with built-in advantages with our specific tax system. And so when I'm looking at the budget, whether it's from the lens of the operation of an agency or an individual situation, or their quality of life, my objective is always to make sure that the wealthy and large corporations that have benefited from this system pay their fair share, so that we can achieve the shared goals that we may have. The thing about this money, and I'm talking about taxes because this is the money that we receive, this money that we're talking about is centered around taxes. You have the bottom 20% of people paying more than anybody else, making significantly less, meaning like almost 80% less, and are the top consumers because it's the largest group of people, whereas the top 20% are paying less taxes than anyone, right? Making three times as much as everyone else, sometimes even more. And then there are a small level of consumers because it's so few of them. That's why I think the budget needs to have be showcase our what we value, and it should be the people that are putting the most in. But I think not. Actually, let me take that back. It should be the people that we owe ourselves to help economically advance. Boom, got that. Taxes, right? Here we go. Because right now, y'all, inflation is a real thing, and I want us to really not let this lose our mind that prices for just about everything is going up, whether it's gas, groceries, houses, cars, clothes, TV. has slowly but surely been happening over the past, however, but we've got to over the past 2 years or so, but we've got to sort of pay attention to that as we go through this budget. I can tell you in the current budget that the gas tax is gone. The gas tax is still there, but grocery tax is gone, right? So that uh, we did not get relief on any gas in any way, shape, or form, whether it was the Democratic recommendation or the governor's recommendation, and grocery tax just seems to not be in there. Okay, boom. We're going to talk more about that. I want to keep it light a little bit. Even though we differ on opinions, a lot of times there are opportunities for us to work together. Good morning. Uh, um, Good morning, Scott. So there are opportunities for us to work together and do some interesting things. Not all people are bad. That's a myth, right? Because we don't share values doesn't mean we can't get along. So this past week, I was able to do a fun thing with some of my colleagues. Has anybody ever heard of carpool karaoke? James Corbin does it. Corbin does the carpool karaoke. But so myself and a couple, a Republican senator and a Republican Democrat, and a Democratic senator and a Democratic delegate, we had a little fun in the name of making sure that we support this organization, VPAP, that I tell you guys about all the time. VPAP provides this very clear and concise data of what the General Assembly looked like, who's taking money from where, and understanding that. So I'm going to put that in the chat and tell you, don't be going to look at it yet while we here, right? So that's a little fun thing that happens. So it's not all terrible. We do have moments, but even if we come to an impasse, there are still people behind the problems and policy to fix the people's problems. And we're ultimately kind of working for the same thing with different values, with different values, of course. And feel free to put in the chat if you have any questions as I sort of walk through the briefing today, because this is essentially for you all, and I want you to be a part of that. Going on to local news, as I go from that high of VPAP, I'm gonna sort of take it down a notch. I recognize, I'm still your neighbor. Let's just remember that. Like, we're still neighbors, and I am still struggling with how much time I allow my little citizens to spend outside of the home, because of the shooting, and I'm not going to say crime, because overall it is genuinely just the indiscriminate shooting that I'm finding is a huge issue. It's a huge issue. We just saw in Park Place the other day, a Ring camera caught a drive-by where there were 17 shots fired, and I can tell the homeowner obviously was a military person, and the block was characterized as mostly retirees and folks with young children. Like, it's real. And what we know thus far, I'm still waiting on, amplifying information, is that it's indiscriminate. It's just doing it for the sake of doing it. At least that's the way it currently appears. Please know that, at the state level, when we go in when we go in tomorrow, we were earmarked. Norfolk was earmarked for about $1 million under the ceasefire operation. But I told you guys about that. The ceasefire operation is a fund that is meant to combat gun violence, but primarily that fund speaks on enforcement, not community development. So what's going to be really important is looking at the money under the grants and the community grants for organizations that are working within communities to be funded to expand their capacity to do good work. Now, one thing that I've already started, right, is that I've emailed, and if you know another community organization that you feel like, Jackie, you need to be in contact with them, or you need to invite them to this pool, is there's a Better Block grant that is at the national level, and our U.S. attorney actually sent it to my office, and what I did was sent it out to about 6 different community organizations that are mitigating crime, whether it's with the youth, whether it's with workforce development, whether it's with food. These organizations, these 7 or so organizations, I asked, hey, can we pull together and apply for this grant? Because here's what I'm running into, and I actually need you all's help identifying other organizations that could possibly be a part of this, right? Is that some of these organizations are not legal entities, right? So that means they're not a LLC, they're not a 501c3, so they cannot apply for some of these grants, right? However, that doesn't make their work any less valuable than anyone else doing the work. However, I'm saying however again, we do want to get them to a place where we can get some of this money in for these organizations to again expand capacity to continue to do the good work, right? So I am asking you all to spread the word. My email address is Del J Glass as I type, right? Like it's Del J Glass at house.virginia.gov. Virginia spelled all the way out. .gov. All right, like I need those names. I do not care if they have already started the paperwork. We will get them to where we need to be. But we cannot keep having conversations about how the city needs to do better and the state needs to do better when we have these opportunities and we don't have the people that are able to, thank you Vince for putting it in there. We don't have the organizations that are able to take advantage of the opportunity, right? I don't want to see that happen. I don't want anyone saying, because we're always, I think not always, but in most cases we're going to be in a position where our city doesn't necessarily have all of the funds to do all of the things, right? Same with the state, not all of the funds to do all of the things. But if we're looking at national opportunities, statewide opportunities, and we're getting our organizations in a place where they can do exactly what they're trying to do, build better communities, then let's do it. So I don't want to, again, call in, as it was put in the chat by Vince. Thank you. This is a call in. Share the organization. I will reach out, and then we will get them to the folks to help them. One, get themselves as a legal entity if they so choose, but two, also be able to qualify and quantify their work. Right? It's one thing to say, yes, we're doing good work in the community. And when I say, show me how, right? How are you doing that? How are you doing good work in the community? And you're like, well, we do this with the kids. And you could just tell me events. That's not good enough. I need to know that you reduce crime on this block by 10%, that the number of car larcenies are like, but we can help get folks to that point. I just need them at the table. Okay? That part. Got it. I'm trying to check, make sure that I'm getting all of the things. Oh, I don't know that I want to share this, but I'm going to share it. So, we're transitioning from crime to what we put into our bodies. Be careful eating strawberries. There was a headline saying that strawberries were giving Hep A, like organic specifically. I'm gonna put the link to the news story, the strawberries news story in the. Actually, I think I'm taking your job, and I don't mean to. Things I want you guys to keep up, because they were looking. Actually, I've seen several conversations around strawberries this weekend. So, like, hey, for real, like, make sure you're being careful, and blue crabs as well. Don't eat the females. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause for a second, and I'm going to see if you guys have any questions, any comments, any concerns. I can see the chat today. It's several lives ago. I just was not able to see what it is that you guys were typing or what was actually going on. So giving a little, giving some opportunity and some space to ask any questions, comments, or concerns. That's a beautiful thing and not a beautiful thing at the same time. Yep, it's time. It's time. So I will pose this question as we roll into the summer. Um, what are you hoping that we invest actually as we roll into this budget? What are you looking for in the budget? I would love to be able to start looking, because some of you guys are faithful here every morning, and some of you guys are faithful here every afternoon. But what I do want to know is, if in our budgets, what are you looking for funding for? And it could be, hey, I want more funding for the arts, or I'm looking to see where we are because I know that got cut significantly. Yes. Okay. So Don says, thank you for your response to my company. Yeah, we're working on helping other companies become eligible to apply. So what Dawn is doing, and I think this is an important thing, is that there are some phenomenal programs at the local level, like the Block by Block grant. And Dawn, I would bring you in. uh, uh, what Dawn has done is applied for what is called the Block by Block grant. To help start doing some, and I've correct me if I'm greenhouses. You're already running a community garden. The block by block grants, there's two types. One is a $500 grant, which actually our Civic League applied for here where I'm at. We applied for the block by block grant to do marketing. We wanted to get signed so people knew that the Civic League was going on. We wanted to be able to get our newsletter back up and running, those sorts of things. But what Dawn is applying for, and Dawn, if you can type your company in the chat, just because like I cannot remember off the top of my head, I would very much so appreciate it. Apply to get some support with expanding a good program in her community, in the Park Place community, of getting greenhouses done. That's super important, right? It's these things that we know mitigate crime. And what I'll actually do is I'm going to share this other grant that was shared with me by the U.S. Attorney. Um, there we go. It's called Better Block Violence Prevention. And so what this is, it's was sort of built by this nonprofit urban designer to reduce crime through these environmental design projects. Like, think about landscaping, street painting, stages, kiosks, picnic tables, swings. And to be quite honest, in Dallas, it was a featured project. Hold on, I'm gonna put the Better Block grant in the chat for you all to use. We've seen upwards to $175,000 for the Better Block grants. Like, it is an important program, and we want to be able to bring that to you all with our neighbors. And that's, I think, how we're going to get a lot of work done, is really marrying up, kind of putting ourselves in eloping with other organizations to do and expand the work. Well, that is my time. I want to express gratitude, and Donna, we will always do our best to try to respond as quickly as possible to you all's requests or to your questions. Like I always said, if you have any, do not hesitate. In the chat is the Del J Glass account. I will put the office number here as well. The office number is 757-472-1293. My chief of staff, Stephanie, that's the hotline to the office. So if you had any questions there, do not hesitate to pick up the phone and give us a buzz. All right. So until Thursday, right? Until Thursday, I will catch you guys on the flip side. I hope you're able to make it a great day. Remember, tomorrow I will be in Richmond. I will probably do a very short live while I'm in Richmond, just to sort of give you guys a feel for we're under construction there as we move our offices from one building to the next. But at the very minimum, for those of you guys who have just, sort of just joining on this journey, give you an opportunity to see what the house looks like, what it means for us to do the work, and what it means to vote. If there's anything specific that you'd like me to share about Richmond, or like some video of, do not hesitate to drop it in the chat, and I will do my best to get that footage or talk about that tomorrow while I'm in those spaces. Okay? All right, take care, y'all.